Hello, fourth grade, and happy Monday. It's Mrs. Price with your Monday week 6 packet. And today we're going to focus on similes. Now, I just posted a video of an anchor chart for you guys, so I would encourage you to watch that video. It's pretty quick, and I just kind of went over what similes are, and I gave you some great examples of similes. And I posted that on YouTube, so I'll also post it on Dojo and Google Classroom for you guys. And it also has a link to a great video that's on YouTube that explains similes and metaphors. So I would highly encourage you to watch that, as it's just a great resource to help you understand this even better. All right, so similes. Now, if you just watch that video, then you know that similes, it's a type of figurative language, right? It's a play on language is what I like to say. And similes are comparing two things, right? We're looking at how two things are alike in similes, not how they're different, but how they're alike. And then you see the words like or as in a simile. So when you see those words, it gives it away. And I like this definition. It's a pretty technical definition, but it's a great definition. A simile is a rhetorical figure that compares a real term with an imaginary one, and it has a similar quality. So that might sound kind of advanced, but all that means is it's just something that's real. Like, for instance, her blue eyes are like the sky, right? Well, blue eyes and sky are real terms, but when you're comparing the two to a blue eyes to the sky, right, it is a little bit imaginary. Or not so much imaginary, but it's poetry, right? I love the way that that sounds. And you can see the connector is like in this case. Not as, but like. And then it kind of explains it in more detail. So her blue eyes, that's the real term, are like, that's the connector, the sky, imaginary term. And like I said, the sky is real, but it's connecting it to something that's more imaginary. That's what makes it poetry. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to read the following examples of a simile. You're going to underline the real term in yellow, just like they did up here. Then underline the imaginary term in green, right here. And then circle or underline the connector with another color. Now, these were probably printed in black and white, so you cannot see the example of the yellow and the green and another color. So if I were you, I got a yellow highlighter. I would just kind of go over the directions in yellow. That way, it'll make it really easy when you go down here and start highlighting all of the different similes. Okay? All right, so again, you are underlining the real term in yellow. All right, so let's read the first one, right? Her eyes are like the sky. All right, so if you have a highlighter and it's in black and white, you're going to highlight eyes in yellow, right? Because that's the real term. And you're going to highlight the imaginary term in green. That would be the sky. Okay, so just go ahead and go over, if you have black and white, go over it with a green highlighter. It doesn't have to be a highlighter. It can be a crayon. It can be a colored pencil or a marker. It doesn't matter. And then you're just going to find another color. I'm just going to use my pencil, but you can use another color to highlight the connector. So in this case, it was like. So if you just want to underline that with a pen or get a different color, you're going to do that. Okay? All right, so then it's asking you some questions. What two things are being compared? Well, we know that her eyes and the sky are being compared, right? So I would write eyes and sky. And what does it mean? What do you think that means? Her eyes are like the sky. Well, think about what color the sky is. The sky is blue, or maybe the sky is kind of like a bluish gray one day. What does that mean? It means her eyes are blue or bluish gray, right? That's what that means. We're just talking about the color of her eyes. So that's how you would figure out number 1 using the simile that they gave you up here in the example. All right, so what they're going to do is they're going to give you a different simile for each number. And they're just going to ask you what 2 things are being compared and then what does it mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first one together. He is skinny like a toothpick. Okay, so the real term is skinny. The imaginary term is toothpick. And then what is the connector? In this case, they use the word like. Okay, so that's how you would highlight that. So what 2 things are being compared? Well, he is skinny, so that would be his size, right? And you could put skinny in parentheses. And then we're comparing it to a toothpick. Okay. And what does it mean? Well, what does that mean? He is skinny like a toothpick. Think about a toothpick. Toothpicks are really, really skinny, right? So what that means to me is whoever he is very thin, apparently. Or you could say he is very skinny. Okay. All right, so you're just going to go through. 1 is as tall as a tower. Answer those questions. I slept like a baby. His teeth are like pearls. Your red lips are like rubies. And then on number 7, you get to create your own. So just remember, go back to your example. You have to have a real term, a connector. It has to be like or as if it's a simile. And then your imaginary term that you're connecting it to. Okay, so have fun with that. All right, guys. If you have any questions or you need help, you know where to find me. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye.